What do you want first? Good news or bad news? Let's start with the bad news first. It's hard to avoid bad news right now. It's kind of everywhere. And it's also all over award shows this season. Emilia Perez has won Best International Film at the Critics' Choice Awards. Again, this was just, an hour ago, give or take, that this happened. It's not all that shocking, given how the Golden Globes went, but it still sucks to see. In particular, because a week ago, sometime within the last week, I saw I'm Still Here. It's the only other international film I've seen this year. And it's nominated for the Oscar, both international and Best Picture. And it's fantastic. It's incredible. I was blown away. It instantly made my top 5 for the entire year. And Emilia Perez is in my bottom 5, I'm pretty sure. Because that movie is awful. It's terrible. In so many different ways. It is expertly terrible. And I'm really hoping we can avoid some of this at the Oscars. I know it's inevitable. It has the most, tied for second most nominations ever. It's going to win something. I mean, the math is in its favor. It's just going to win something. But as long as we can minimize that damage, that'll at least make me feel okay. I really hope I'm Still Here, or really anything else, because, again, that's the only other nominee I've seen. But I really hope something else wins international film. But let's not harp on the bad too long. Let's celebrate the good, because the last thing I saw before hitting start streaming today was that Anora won Best Picture. Very, very happy about that. Now, I think there's several films that are deserving of it this year. Several that I'd be happy with. But this is probably the one I'm most personally rooting for. And so to see it actually get some love here, when it got so little love at the Golden Globes, makes me happy. I think it's very well deserved. We can quickly look at the list of the results. I only saw a handful of tweets. I'm not going to go into a ton of detail on this. I'm just going to run through this for the first time and see what the big upsets were, or what this might mean for the Oscars, briefly. But we've got Best Picture, Anora. Again, there's several in here that I think are very good. Dune Part 2, Nickel Boys, and Anora. Those are my top 3 for the year. Best Actor, Adrien Brody. That follows suit with the Golden Globes. I still think the sleeper pick for the Oscars is Ralph Fiennes, but we'll see. We will see. Best Actress, Demi Moore, again, following suit with the Golden Globes. Surprising. I thought it was surprising for the Golden Globes. I think it's fairly surprising now. I'm not as familiar with the Critics' Choice Awards and how they tend to vote. I'm still skeptical. If she's the favorite, if Vegas has her as the favorite for the Oscars, I think that you have an opportunity to make some money on maybe Mikey Madison or someone else. Forget who all is nominated in this category for the Oscars. Yeah, maybe a sleeper Mikey Madison or Fernanda Torres. I could see it. Definitely deserving though. I mean, Demi Moore was great in The Substance. Don't mean to take anything away from her there. Just a little bit shocking that it's actually winning awards, especially for the type of movie it is. Best Supporting Actor, Kieran Culkin. That one's a lock. That one's been a lock. Best Supporting Actress, Zoe Saldana. Yeah, not my pick, but I also think this is not a bad bet when it comes to the Oscars either. I think if Emilia Perez does sneak a few wins here, this is a pretty likely one in my opinion. Best Young Actor or Actress. Didn't know this was a category. Didn't know this was nominated. I actually love this winner here. My Old Ass was shockingly good, in my opinion. It ranked pretty high in my list of movies for the entire year. I don't know what else Maisie Stella's in, but she was pretty great in it. Best Acting Ensemble. Went with Conclave. I could see it. It's a safe pick. Best director, I saw this one get tweeted out. John M. Chu for Wicked. Insane. Insane over some of these other ones. I mean, of course, you know, singing the praises of Anora, Sean Baker. I mean, how these bottom three, I feel like not giving it to one of these three is kind of wild. If I had to narrow it down to two, these two, but man, yeah, this is, I mean, we know this isn't being repeated for the Oscars since he's not even nominated. Neither is Denny and neither is Ramel. Ramel Ross, right? Ramel Ross. These two aren't even nominated for the Oscars, which is insane. He's not nominated for an Oscar, which is understandable. Yeah, I have Rudy Corbet as my assumption on who's gonna win. If I was picking, it either goes to Sean Baker or Coralie Forget, if that's how you say her name. Yeah, this one's insane. Best original screenplay going to Coralie, or The Substance. I don't hate that. I think there's better nominees here. Overall, Jesse Eisenberg is getting a lot of love for A Real Pain, which definitely was a good movie, but I don't know if I'd go so far as to nominate it here. But best adapted screenplay going with Conclave. I could see that. I do feel like Conclave going into award season felt like a safe pick in a lot of categories. Even before like the nominees were announced, I felt like, you know, Conclave felt like a safe award season nominee for a lot of categories and could come away a winner in some of them. But I honestly think you go Nickel Boys in this category. If you're asking me if you've seen this movie, and I haven't read the book that it's based on, but just learning about it a little bit after having seen it, the way that this was adapted is kind of insane. To me, Nickel Boys stands out in this category in particular as deserving of a lot more recognition than it clearly got here. Best cinematography, Nosferatu, Jarin Blashk. I don't know if that's how you say it, but he's kind of my goat right now. Everything he's done with Robert Eggers looks incredible. Greg Fraser, also the goat. Honestly, Nickel Boys, again, I think these two and Nosferatu would have been my top three if I had to narrow it down. Overall, this is a pretty good list. I mean, you got Wicked in there, but whatever. Best production design going to Wicked. This is one that I'm not as upset about. Still don't know that that's what I would have picked, but if you're telling me Wicked's, you know, walking away with some awards, best production design makes more sense than some of the other ones. Best editing, Challengers. I do like that. I don't believe this was even nominated for the Oscar. Yeah, it wasn't, which is crazy. I'm not upset with that at all. I don't know that I would have picked anything else over it, truthfully. I think that probably would have been what I went with too. Best costume design, Wicked. Okay. Best hair and makeup going to The Substance. That makes sense. I think I have that one locked in for the Oscars as well. Yep, makeup and hairstyling, that's what I went with. It makes sense. It's one of those where it's like kind of about that. So if, you know, when you're going to award season, you can just kind of be like, well, it had the most of it, so maybe they'll vote for it. Yeah, might have been what I picked as well. Best visual effects going to Dune Part 2. Endorsed. Very much endorsed that. This movie looked incredible. Best animated feature going to The Wild Robot. It's a little bit shocking. I feel like Flow is the favorite. I haven't seen Flow yet. I hopefully will before the actual Oscars, but I mean, I like The Wild Robot a lot. Best comedy, and we have a tie? How is that even possible? What a sham of an award show. Best comedy, and it's split between A Real Pain and Deadpool and Wolverine. That's awesome. I don't even know how you end up here. Deadpool and Wolverine, big budget, MCU, superhero movie. A Real Pain, a film about grief where they take a tour of a concentration camp. And those two movies are equally comparable and deserving of best comedy. Yes, there are comedic moments in A Real Pain, but in my dramatized oversimplification of the two plots, it's kind of wild that these two are combined winners for best comedy. This is kind of insane. Best foreign language film, Emilia Perez. I don't know how this happens. I don't know how this happens. Best song, of course, El Mal. I mean, just lock it in for the Oscar at this point. There's nothing we can do about it. Best score, Challengers. That is the correct answer. Objectively, the fact that it's not nominated for an Oscar is insane. Truthfully, I can't even comprehend it. This movie is great for a lot of reasons. I think it's 50% worse without this score. If you think it's a 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10, I think it's a 4 to 5 without this score. Well deserved. All right, there you have it. Critics' Choice Awards. Some upsets. I don't know that we can use too much of this to determine how the Oscars are going to play out. I feel like there's several winners who aren't even nominated. And some of them are a bit surprising, but who knows? If you feel like you've got your finger on the pulse and you know who's going to win all the Oscars, you're locked in with the Academy, then why not go to bigmovieboys.com? We've got award show pick'ems. You can find it on the top bar here. You can find it in the top right of the homepage here. Make some picks. See if you can guess accurately who's going to win each category. You can see some of my picks here. Some of them are wish casting. I would like to see Mikey Madison win it. Some of them I feel a little bit more confident in. But you can compete against me and against everyone else who submits their ballot on March 2nd, the day of the Oscars. The picks will lock. I will be updating the results live as they get announced in the show. And the leaderboard will be updated. See how you stack up against everyone else. And if you want, you can even create a group so that you and your friends or you and your podcast listeners can compete against each other in a smaller, more intimate setting. Either way, bigmovieboys.com is where you can find that. It's award season, baby.